So when I first started my journey into bushcraft and wild camping, I didn't have all the gear, didn't have any idea. I started out buying cheap gear just like this. Some of it was great, some of it was absolute rubbish, but every now and again, a bit like this one, I was buying something that I didn't really know what I was going to get until I opened the package. So when I first started out, I bought all of my gear from car boot sales, Gumtree and eBay. We didn't have places like Vinted and Facebook Marketplace. And you know, I bought things like hoop bivvies, tarps, self-inflating mats. And I was having a little bit of a scroll around Vinted the other day, and I saw this, and it looked like a bargain. The description was very poor. It said integral UniShelter. They hadn't spelt the word integral right, and they only had one photograph showing the item in the bag, so didn't actually know what I was getting, but it was only 20 quid. And rather than sending a message asking them to put more photos on, which would have attracted the attention of more people, I took a punt, took a gamble, and just bought it. So it's arrived now, and I thought I would open it with you and we can have a look at what you get for 20 quid. Just let me get this backpack off. So about 7 or 8 years ago, I bought a Rab UniShelter hooped bivvy bag, and it was around 300 quid. And Rab actually bought the company called Integral Designs back in the mid 2010s, basically for the intellectual property of some of these really good bivvy bags that they had. This just said Integral UniShelter, so I had a bit of a zoom in on the picture, and it said Integral Designs UniShelter. So I'm hoping that I've got the same hooped bivvy bag that costs £350 for 20 quid. We shall see. It didn't show any pictures, it doesn't mention anything in the description so about poles or anything, so let's have a look, shall we? Typical Vinted style. It's wrapped up in a bin liner. Come on. There we go. Yeah, it has got a pole in it. Integral Designs UniShelter bivvy. It looks in really good condition on the bag anyway. Let's have a look inside at what we've got. So the original ones of these were made from a material called Event, which I really liked. You don't really get much in it anymore, but it is really breathable and waterproof, but I think it's quite flammable, so that's why they stopped using it. You're not allowed to use it in tents and things like that anymore anyway. Bag, put that to one side. They've even sent a couple of elastic bands, look. Let's get them around my bottle so we don't lose them. Yes, roll it out. Yeah, the material feels very different to some of the more modern day stuff. But this looks mint. It looks like it's, just from the outside, it looks like it's been used once, if that. There's no pegs come with it. I'm excited. So it comes with just a single pole. It actually feels better material than the Rab UniShelter that I had. I think they used Pertex Shield on the one that I had, which is more modern, but I like I said, some of the older materials in my opinion were better. Gore-Tex back in the day was more waterproof than modern day Gore-Tex. I know that it's not as eco-friendly and stuff, but it actually feels like it's a little bit roomier. It is windy, so I'm going to just peg it out and yeah, we'll have a look inside. Yeah, there are a couple of little tie out points in here. I can't believe I've got this for 20 quid. I know I'm a little bit special, but I'm really impressed with that. I am hoping that the bug net is all intact and everything, but from the condition, you would imagine, fingers crossed, there's not a mark on it. So if you've watched my channel from the early days, you'll know that I'm a big fan of hoop bivvy bags. Oh, here it is, bug net. Oh, this is an absolute steal. That's assuming that it's waterproof anyway. So when I look inside now, you can see a bit more evidence of it not looking brand new. The inside material looks a bit faded, but I will need to give it a good dousing in water just to check that it's waterproof. Let's have a look inside here. Whoa. Yeah, a couple of little bits of grass inside, but nothing major, is there? It looks fantastic. Suppose I better climb inside it, hadn't I? There's a down feather in there. Let's get the bug net up. Now these aren't massive, they haven't got loads of space inside, and if you're claustrophobic, certainly not for you. I'm really happy with this. And £20, so yeah, like I was saying, when I first started out, I had a Dutch Army hoop bivvy. I know I had the British Army bivvy as well, but that didn't have a bug net, and I like a bit of bug protection. There's nothing worse than waking up and you've got, you know, a spider crawling across your face, or you've got a slug stuck to your bottom lip. So I wanted this little mesh so I could still, you know, have it open to the elements, so I can still stargaze with this up. Yeah, and all that stuff was cheap. I know it's not as cheap nowadays, but every now and again you can find a bargain. If you scroll around regularly, have a look and look for things like this that got a spelling mistake on. They don't have all of the information that you need. So if this had photos of it with, you know, set up with the hoop and everything, and photos of the condition of the outside and even inside for 20 quid, it just looks like it's a bit faded, to be fair. Yeah, I'll probably give it a spray with some nick wax or something like that anyway, but it's kind of got me thinking, could I create a setup similar to what I had back in the day on a really tight budget? You know, I'm quite fortunate now that I've got access to a lot of more modern gear that is and some of the technology advances are brilliant, but at the end of the day, a bivvy bag is a bivvy bag. It's a coffin. You know, some of the more modern materials are lighter, maybe a little bit more breathable. I'm not convinced they are as waterproof nowadays, but yeah, but can I get a sleep system? Can I get a backpack and, you know, put a full kit together, maybe for under 100 quid, that could get me on a night out? So that is my next challenge. Really happy with this. 20 quid. I've been looking for ages to try and get a rubber scent bivvy, yeah, for a bargain price, but they're going for 100 quid, stuff like that, second hand. The rubber scent is a little bit lighter, but you just got to shimmy your way in from the end, whereas this one has got this huge opening. You can just sit down to get in it. Nah. Thought I'd lost you, boy. What do you think? I'd like to know in the comments if you still go scouring the Vinted and eBay and Facebook Marketplace for second-hand bargains. What's your thoughts on really budget gear? You know, stuff that's 20 quid. You know, this, it's really weird. So I've got some, like I said, I've got some really expensive gear, but I am just as excited at having a go at this. And it's cost a fraction of the price. That is the bit that we often forget. It's not just the gear that makes the trip. It enables you to be able to do something, and you don't need to have the most expensive gear. It's nice, but if this gets you out on an adventure, so this got me out, this kind of stuff got me out on my first ever adventure, my first overnighter in the woods, and since then I was hooked, and that has led me down this rabbit hole of outdoor stuff that I would never have dreamt of when I started. So do not knock it. Do not knock the £20 bivvy bag. Anyway, I'm going to get this packed away. I'm going to head home, get onto eBay and see if I can find some more kit to go with this to put a little budget setup together, and then get out somewhere and give it a bash. Hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.